I'm just so red. Kirin Callinan is a pop singer from Australia. He broke out with his Bravado album a few years back, which I did not really like. I definitely appreciated the weird wildness and the kind of randomness that it felt at times, but it just wasn't for my ears, really. I at least could appreciate it, and I do think the, the, the closing track, Bravado, is a great closer. What a ballad that is. That is such a great song. I couldn't believe it when she gets to that final track and that came on. I was just like, what? However, his follow up album, which you would think would be a huge, bold, comeback to kind of bring listeners back in, is a covers album, which I just find really kind of odd to do. It's just not really striking while the iron is hot. It's just not something you would do to kind of keep the hype going. Not saying that you shouldn't do it, I just personally would advise against it. But still, I'm not against them completely. I do love Angelique Kidjo's Celia album from this year, and last year she put out a good Remaining Light album too. So I'm not against covers albums. I'm just against this covers album, this one. Return to Center is pretty bad. Now, there are definitely tracks on here that he certainly puts his own spin on, or at least attempts to make different, which is something I can definitely appreciate about a cover song. If you're just going to do the same sort of song that's already been made, then I would say just use it for live performances. You don't really need to do the same song that's already out there again, really, for an album, I wouldn't say. But if you want to do that, that's fine. But usually it just doesn't really excite you, But even without that in mind, and even if you heard what I just said there and thought, I don't agree with that, but still, that's fine if you don't agree. Even without all of that, these are just not very good songs. Like, he's covering pretty weak songs, I must admit, like, throughout. I mean, the homosexual, I think it's supposed to be funny. Maybe it was when it initially was made. But Kirin doesn't make it funny, or it doesn't sound funny when he's singing it. Signed Curtain is just another problem of the song just not being funny at all, really. The whole, this is the first verse, this is the chorus, this is the bridge. It's just so, like, meta, but sometimes meta can be so funny and amazing, like in a show like Community, but here in a song like this, it just falls flat on its face. But at least it's his own version of the song. It is different to the original, and there's Kirinisms on this track that you might find on his last album. But yeah, a lot of these tracks really just play it quite safe. Like, from a vocal standpoint, he's not really doing much that keeps my attention throughout, honestly. Like, some of these tracks are straight up ballads. Like I said, from his last album, Bravado being the best track was the ballad. That was because of how powerful his vocal performance was, but you just wouldn't think it's the same singer listening to this album, honestly. I mean, the man covers Vienna on this album. Vienna, what a great, powerful vocal performance that track is from the band Ultravox. But this is like bad karaoke when Kirin is trying to do it here. This is really, really, really poor. Means nothing to me. Oh, Vienna. There's barely even an exaggeration as well. That is really how he's singing on this track. It's so weak. It's so weak. What are you doing? I will say The Whole of the Moon is actually kind of the highlight for me on the album. The original is actually quite a decent song by the Waterboys, admittedly. But here, it just reminds me, though, of when Weezer were just playing the songs the same way they were on the Teal album, except when they just sounded terrible. But again, I just couldn't imagine listening to this. Even if you were a Kirin fan, like a hardcore fan of him, why would you pick this over the original? I just don't see it, honestly. So yeah, even when the songs sound fine, they're still not that exciting, honestly. This is a pretty weak album. Like I say, I didn't like Bravado, but I appreciated what it went for. But nothing from that album really comes through on this one. I'm just very surprised that wild Kirin just isn't here. I mean, there's some voiceovers on one of the tracks on this album, like news flashes about how he was like literally flashing people at an event, and people went crazy about it because it was just so inappropriate. I don't even know if it's true or not, but like that wild weirdness that you're getting being told to you about him just isn't actually there presented by him. It's very strange. I would like to see him try some of that outlandish pop once again, even if I didn't like it. But this is kind of worse because it's just really bland. Gonna go 4 out of 10. Hope you enjoyed this review. Hope you like this album way more than I did. Thank you for watching me talk about this. Have a good day. Goodbye. Wear sun cream too, actually. Do that, because when you don't, you look like this. Goodbye.